June the 18th, 2021. Guys, you're looking at the latest from Sky Tower. This is part of Fox Hurricane down in Florida. But the storm has changed somewhat. It's not real defined yet. I've been waiting for about an hour to get some good daylight satellite images. But here's what we've got. Right now, it's still a low pressure system, and it's setting due south of central Louisiana. It's a lot closer than it was, but it's changed somewhat in the fact that right now they're saying by today at 2 a.m. this will be a tropical storm. Yesterday it was 1 p.m. Late last night it went to about 7 p.m. Now they've got it back again to 2 p.m. this afternoon, hitting 40 miles an hour and becoming a tropical storm, Claudette. By Saturday at 2 a.m. it's coming ashore as 45-mile-an-hour storm. It remains a tropical storm at 45 miles an hour as it comes right over our county here in Mississippi, then slows down to 30 miles an hour and makes a northeast path through Alabama into northeast Georgia, right up into Tennessee, and into the western part of the Carolinas. Thing's supposed to cut it back out and go into the Atlantic. These are your current models, guys. This was 20 minutes ago at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And they've kind of changed this morning. At first, the Navy model and the Canadian model just kind of drifted out here in the middle of nowhere, and the Canadian model is still doing it, although the storm is situated at the bottom of these models. Now, the Navy model, which is in purple, carries the storm up, back into central Louisiana, and straight through that path we just looked at. Now, when you see the other models also, but when this happens and you've got about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 models converging right here going between Baton Rouge and New Orleans, Louisiana. That's going to put New Orleans, Lake Pontchartrain in the northeast quadrant of the storm. Now, it's just a tropical storm. It's not going to be a major hurricane or anything. The entire time we've covered this storm, I've talked about excessive rain and potential flooding. These are the tropical storm warnings that are current this morning. Still from central Louisiana back east. This time they're extending a little further. Last night they were along the Florida-Bama line or Alabama-Florida line on the beach there at the restaurant and bar. But now they extend over to Panama City. So just a little further to the east. It could be because of this turn and keeping that right side of the storm along the coast there somewhat. Just the right edges of it. We're going to watch because the storm has not come ashore yet, and until that point, you never know if it's going to try to veer right somewhat. We're going to have to watch that. Now, this is the Saharan dust layer coming off of Africa, across the Atlantic. The darker browns are the thicker areas. Notice it's now into the Gulf of Mexico and along Florida. You're catching it along Mississippi. Look at this, guys, as it moves through here. In Florida, you may be getting some orange tint to your skies right now. Check that out. We saw this last year, and it was as if a very high smoke was up, and the way a forest fire would kind of turn the light to an orange. We saw that quite a bit last year, and dust on clouds, dust in your lungs, dust in your eyes. So it's a natural thing that has been happening for thousands and thousands of years. But lately, it's been a little worse the last few years. Drier conditions on the African continent, up in the desert region, and it picks these dust clouds up as sand layer. So, again, you may be getting some orange tint in your skies, but it will affect the air quality, so pay attention to that in your local area. And looking at the National Hurricane Center, it lines up with the models that we saw in the Fox Hurricane Center. And again, notice the tropical storm now is at 1 a.m. Saturday. That's tonight at midnight, after midnight, 1 hour after midnight, the storm's coming ashore. And those are always the most dangerous, whether they're a tropical depression storm or full-blown hurricane, because you just don't have the visibility to see the water rise, trees, things like that could fall. So tonight, guys, just sleep with one eye open and make sure that everything's battened down, that you have extra gas in your car or truck, that you have extra food and water in case your power goes down. Really good time to have a generator if you got some gas. It shouldn't be a major outage as far as a long period of time like we saw the 2 weeks in Katrina, guys, things like that. Shouldn't be that long, and it shouldn't be as long as the ice storm that we just endured back in February. but still, you're going to have some power losses. Again, the same thing on their models from central Louisiana over to Panama City. Again, not a powerful storm, but your storm surges are set up from 1 to 2 feet above normal from Cameron through intercoastal city, 2 to 3 feet as you get down into very south tip of Louisiana, down into Gator country, 2 to 3 feet up through Mississippi to the Alabama border. Then it starts to back off again as you get further away from the center, 1 to 2 feet of surge in the Okaloosa-Walton County area. Again, 1 to 2 feet depends on. A lot of that has to do with boating, guys, in a way, and low-lying areas, but 1 to 2 feet or 2 to 3 feet can bring that water over the piers where your boat's docked and do some damage to the side of not only the pier but your boat. So keep an eye on that. Keep an eye on the low-lying areas, and notice the 1 to 2 foot surges in Lake Pontchartrain also. Now, you can see as daylight rises here in the south over the Gulf of Mexico itself, storm is centered right here in the center. You can see it's wrapping in this area. A lot of it's hidden under this large area of clouds. If you look at the surface, you can see both the output and the input of the center of rotation due south of Louisiana. Now notice as it gets closer how much further inland this section of clouds has pushed. It was along the coast, now it's pushing up into the central parts of Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. So watch for the rain to build up out in front of the storm, lightly at first and then becoming heavier and heavier. Also, we're still experiencing some pretty decent temperatures in the south. At 8:31, it's only 70 degrees right now. Normally it's about 88 or so and about to get really hot. So this wind, the overcast clouds that we're seeing, it will help with the temperatures. Now, right in central Mississippi, these clouds have not gotten quite to us yet. We're still seeing blue skies and blue sunny skies. That's going to change somewhat, but the greatest threat from this storm, I think, will be the flooding along South Louisiana. What we got to watch for as it gets into tropical storm speed is waterspouts and tornadoes ashore. As this thing gets named throughout this today and throughout tonight, you're going to get pretty good coverage from this channel. I promise you that. But this is what we're dealing with, guys. Just wanted to get an update now that we got some visual satellite images. I hope you guys in Louisiana are buckled down south Mississippi. I was looking at the Bay St. Louis webcam about an hour and a half ago, and you could see that the clouds were coming into Bay St. Louis. It looks back towards Long Beach and Gulfport. And the waves were starting to feel this. We watch that particular camera every year. As this heats up through the day, I'm going to come back in with a report, and we're going to see what we have. It's a heads up, guys. Push the subscribe button and be safe.